All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm thinking it's maybe 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and I'm still trying to get things organized. I thought I had things all set up, but then I noticed the background music was not on. Now, though, we should be listening to some Lono. And now I will say hello to all the folks we're hanging out today, starting with Shakalak. And then we've got, let's see here, Shock on the YouTube side. Unhappy because Restream is not showing the schedule on YouTube. Honestly, I wish I could have magical magics to let you know how to fix that. But you see, Shock, I would have to consult my experts on how to fix that. And since, well, you're my expert, so yeah, how do you fix that? Do we know? I'm not too worried about it, so don't spend too much brain time on it. All right, we've also got Elaine in the house on that there YouTube side. Gina coming in saying hello to everybody, along with Cindy Krause. Cindy, so happy to see you. I got your pictures, I got your video. We definitely will be showing that today without any doubt. All right, Cindy Krause again, Gina again, and Elaine. Okay, cool. We've got a crowd. It's starting to gather. Let's get the party started, and we'll revisit yesterday with a warning about today and stuff. But right now, let's get the party started. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for hanging out today, and I want to thank everybody who was here yesterday. I want to thank you guys for a couple different reasons. First off, the movie that we showed yesterday was, without a doubt, not a typical movie that I would normally show on Statterbox at the cinema. It was a completely, child story that was not based at all in reality of Hawaiian folklore and mythology. It was purely a fun movie. And I did hesitate on showing it or not because it had no basis in like Hawaiian folklore. But for those of you who were here yesterday, you'll know that the movie I did plan on using, for some reason, well, both the movies were not cooperating yesterday for some reason. And unfortunately, yesterday I was working blind. Almost literally. For those of you who weren't here yesterday, I woke up with my eyes basically swollen shut, and by the time they were still so messed up, by the time Statterbox at the cinema had, I was in my darkened room. Pretty much the only light that I had was the computer monitor, and I was wearing my sunglasses instead of my glasses because the light was so awful on my eyes. I had a swollen eye, and I still have a swollen eye. So if you're looking at my face right now and you're like, what is wrong with your face? I know. What is wrong with my face? I don't really know, except for this part right here. There's something wrong with my face? I think I got a cat hair in my eye, and then I slept on it, and it ground in, and then it got all unhappy. It is much happier today. I thought for a second we weren't going to have this stream because it was a lot uglier earlier today. Now it's just ugly instead of a lot ugly. So, forgive my face. Look away. Now is the time for an audio version of this show only. All right, so, Shock. Yes, you can still see, got the swollen eye, but I'm looking better. Yeah, exactly. So, hey there, Cora the Capricorn. It's been a while. Y'all probably don't remember me. You know what, Cora? I don't remember a lot about you, but I do remember your screen name. So, we're halfway there. And I'll tell you what, any kind of memory that's coming out of my brain, be impressed by it. Yeah. Because if I don't memorize it, I make it up, apparently. All right, so Gina, you might need to beg out a little early. No problem. And I think Deb Case came in here while I was explaining what was wrong with my face. And so, Deb, good to see you. You got some rain in Kentucky. Good, get that bluegrass growing down there in the South, huh? There you have it. And yeah, I know that was not a Kentucky accent. I know. I don't know what a Kentucky accent is. I don't know what accent that was, but I know it was not Kentucky. Anyway, so, Felicia, did I say hi to you? I don't know, but now I'm saying hi to you because just in case. And what do we got here? Cora coming in, and that you never have notifications on, so be around when you're around. Excellent. Well, I'm glad you could be around right now, because we are here. We almost weren't here, but now we are here, and now we're here again with people who aren't always here. And I love that because, well, actually, I love that because today we're going to be talking about stuff that people from the UK might not know about, but might have beautiful ideas and preconceived notions about. But don't worry, it's not an important thing. It's about food. But before we talk about food, I want to talk about every time we talk about food, Shock just wants to talk about birrias. And you know, Shock, I gotta say, every time I see you posting on your social media a new birrias meal that you're enjoying, it just fills my heart with love and glory and just pride that you came to the West Coast and you found your new favorite thing, and that the East Coast has it too, and that you're just, well, please do not take this phrase wrong, because it has an implication I don't mean, but you're just in hog heaven. I'm not calling you a hog, honey bunches, but you know, you're just in hog heaven with your birrias. And let's see here. Deb, you might have to go early to take the puppy out. Always make sure you take the puppy out earlier rather than later. Because later, well, they don't learn much there and it's a little bit too late. And okay, so Shock, you're in lamb heaven. They're all using lamb over there. Interesting. See, now I've never heard of it being used with lamb. I do know that traditionally it's goat. And when Burien first got their first birrias taqueria, say that 7 times fast, I was under the impression that they served goat, and I was bragging about how we have a restaurant in my town that serves nothing but goat, but then I found out that they don't serve goat at all. It's actually beef. That being said, I do know of a restaurant in town that does serve goat. They also serve other meat, but they serve goat as well. So if you're in the mood for goat, I know where to take you. And if you're not in the mood for goat, I know where to take you to. And let's see here. Cora, you just Googled it, and it looks like it made me poop my pants mid-dish. Well, basically, ultimately it's just it's a Mexican beef or goat stew that then is used to fill tacos, quesadillas, sandwiches, ramen, all sorts of stuff, pizza. Cora, you're coming in with some information I have wondered about in a really long time. Cora is saying that I can agree with Americans that beans on toast is yucky, but also British beans aren't as sweet as yours. Cora, I have wondered that my whole life. So Andre says that British beans are sweet. And Cora is saying not as sweet as our beans. To which I'm sure Andre's like, are you sure about that? Even though he hasn't said that yet, I'm thinking he's thinking that. And even though he hasn't said that yet, I'm going to respond to what I think he's thinking and say, Andre, yes. Because the American beans that she's probably talking about are the New England baked bean type stuff. Whereas the beans you're probably thinking about are more the Hispanic ranch style, which are a little bit spicier. But Shock is coming in with something that I didn't know. Southern beans are not sweet. I didn't know that. But yes, the New England beans are so disgustingly sweet that quite honestly, Cora, I have to tell you, I spent my entire life, I'm 50 years old, and I have to say, probably it wasn't until I was about like 47 that I would even consider anything but a refried bean, because beans are so flippin' sweet. Baked beans are gross. Gross, gross, gross. New England style beans are just why? Molasses, sugar, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And I've often wondered, what is with the British beans? Because they eat them at the breakfast. They've got them on their toast. And so British beans are like much with watery tomatoes. I feel like I would like that a little bit better. Our tomato with mush with watery tomatoes. Okay, I still feel like I would like that better. I mean, on toast, that is weird to me, but I feel like the British version of beans is something that is way more acceptable to my palate than the New England style. And in regards to Southern style beans, I'm not so sure I have ever had those. Probably because, like I said, I've been a bean boycotter for like 47 years of my life, basically. Now, I will tell you this. Lima beans and kidney beans, and butter beans, which are basically lima beans, I'm not gonna do it. And Cora, you tried refried beans once and hated the texture. That's so funny, because that's the reason why I like refried beans versus other beans, is because of the texture. Because to me, so many beans have a powderiness. Like the skin is kind of tough and the inside is kind of powdery, and that's just gross. That's just gross. Whereas the refried beans is a much smoother texture. So I really enjoy that. However, texture is all the situation, you know? And so if you don't like the texture, there's no taste profile you can change if you don't like the texture, right? You know, it's like I don't like the steel cut oatmeal. I prefer the rolled oats, because the steel cut oatmeal is a little too, a little too gluteny, gluey. It just, the texture is all wrong. Yes. And let's see here. Shock doesn't mind the fermented black beans and things. And Cora, I can't tell you how much I love you right now when you say that kidney beans suck. You and I we're connecting right now. We're connecting. And then, you discovered that your FlapJacks are not our okay, you discovered that British FlapJacks are not American flap. You know what you wrote. Okay. And Elaine, a few beans are okay, but full bowl of beans is too many. Gassy. That is how I feel about bean salad. Like, who decided bean salad was a good idea? A bowl full of 18 different varieties of beans, cold, all dressed in... What? Who decided that was delicious? It was not me that decided that was delicious. But I'm going to backtrack here. Okay, so Cora, FlapJacks. Well, yeah, exactly. People who have no money eat a lot of beans. Yeah, actually, Shock, you know what? I know that. And my introduction to beans in my life coincides a lot with my lack of money in life. In fact, if you look in my cupboard, you'll see I have a lot of beans. But they're very specific beans. They're like navy beans, white beans, pinto beans, because they're not as gross as lima beans and kidney beans. But, oh, nice. Your daughter loves beans. Nice, cheap baby. There you go. Love it. Love it. But Cora, most importantly, we got to go back to the FlapJacks. All right. So what is a British FlapJack? And then, we don't really call pancakes FlapJacks here. So I'm wondering what you think an American FlapJack is, because, Well, anyway, tell me about your flapjacks, and then we will discuss that. And all you guys talk about natto in the whole bean situation. That's just thinking about it makes me almost want to gag. That is the texture that I don't like the oatmeal for. And Felicia, you're my new favorite person. 3 bean salad should be against the law. You are invited to every picnic that I go to now. That is right, Felicia. I wholeheartedly agree. And so, what? Okay, this is weird. All right, a British flapjack is oats with maple syrup, brown sugar, and butter baked as a tray bake. Okay, not maple syrup, golden syrup. Golden syrup, yeah, that actually makes sense. I think I would substitute it out for the maple syrup. I'm not a fan of golden syrup. My mom was from Canada, and so we used to always have cans of golden syrup in our house. She loved it. It really wasn't my my shtick. But that British flapjack now, okay, I would not call it a flapjack. I can't even envision what it is, but it sounds delicious. Give me a stack of them. Oh my God. Like, that sounds good. And yeah, no, our pancakes / flapjacks are nothing like that. From my understanding, and Shock can definitely, actually all y'all from the various points of the United States can come in with your different regional ideas, but pancakes and flapjacks are definitely regional terms, and some people use them, they actually mean different things. In my understanding, and I think we all know that my understanding of things is limited and often wrong, but from my understanding, flapjacks are a little bit thinner. In regional America parlance, pancakes are a little bit thicker, and flapjacks oftentimes, whereas like, you know, you can have 1 or 2 pancakes and that's your little pancake stack or whatever. Flapjacks being thin, they're really thin, and then it's like butter with sugar, and then another thin one, and then butter, sugar, another thin one. So you usually get a taller stack of cakes, flapjacks, in one stack. And I see, now this is where it's like, you don't know what the heck you're talking about. That's right, I don't. But we definitely are, not, that we definitely are not in the same, talking about the same things. And right, out here, right, Shock, our pancakes are pretty thick, whereas flapjacks are a little bit thinner, like crepes. Thicker than crepes, but a little bit thinner on the crepe side. And Andre, exactly, you have so many kinds of pancakes here, it's really hard to say. But I'll tell you, dude, Cora, that totally does sound good, and I might go down a rabbit hole and get a recipe off the interwebs, or I might whisper you and say, tell me your secret, girl, because that sounds good. And let's see here. Okay, and now Cora, you're explaining to Cindy Krause that golden syrup is a very sweet syrup, but it's as thick as treacle. Okay, now, okay. What is treacle? Because I always thought, in my limited connections of words, I thought that golden syrup, or I thought that treacle was another name for golden syrup. But you're telling me and us, you're telling us that treacle is different than golden syrup. So, oh, treacle is molasses. Okay. I often wondered if it was molasses, but I always just sort of assumed it was golden syrup. Okay. And unsure of spelling, don't worry. I know what you mean by molasses, and we don't worry too much about spelling here. I mean, you know, obviously you want to spell it well enough that, like, vaguely we know what the heck you're talking about. But, yeah, molasses, I know what that is. And so, okay, so molasses is treacle, Golden syrup is golden syrup. Cora, I know that this is just like, I didn't come here to be on the spot like this. What the hell? But you're on the spot. So, I'm gonna ask this question, and you might not know, that's cool. What is golden syrup made of? What is golden syrup? Like, what is golden syrup made of? I mean, it's not made of gold, right? No. We know that. No, I'm assuming, it's obviously refined something, but what? Oh, it's made of sugar. Oh. Okay. Well, Andre, I'm gonna believe you because you do know a lot of things, but I'm also gonna wait for Cora to confirm or deny your interpretation of realities. It's right. Okay, Cora. Yeah, it's just a tin of cavities waiting to happen. Okay. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. My mom loved golden syrup on toast. That was one of her favorite breakfasts. I just never... as a child, I don't love it as an adult. As a child, I loved everything sugary and sweet, but golden syrup just never... I don't know. It just never... Yeah, honey is better on toast. Exactly. And let's see here. Okay, so Andre coming in with the official internet definition of golden syrup, which I think we know. Equal parts potentially good, equal parts. Are you sure about that? So we will find out what that definition is in just a little bit. But yeah, honey on toast is better. And let's see here. Shock, you've never liked honey, so your spouse who does never has to worry about you stealing all of his. I go through phases. Like, honey has to be used very sparingly with me because sometimes it's so intense that it almost makes me gag. But I always have some in the house because it's really good for medicine. If you've got cuts and scrapes, it's great antibiotic activity. If you've got a sore throat, etc. So I always have local, unprocessed honey in the house, but yeah, it's not one of the things that I like to eat a whole lot of. And okay, so Andre says, see, fancy word, inverted sugar syrup. I don't really know what inverted means in regards to sugar syrup. And then, Cora, exactly. I buy honey when I have fancy money. Yeah, exactly. I know that one. And then I use it once and it just turns into solid until I melt it when I'm sick. Beautiful though, but see here, that's the whole thing. First off, your honey turns to solid, which means it's real honey. Second off, honey, it lasts forever. It's actually one of the preserving foods, so it literally, honey never goes bad. So, excuse me. I mean, I guess it can if you stick a whole bunch of germs in it or whatever, but if you keep it clean like food, honey apparently never goes bad. So it's good, it's not like you wasted your fancy money. Your fancy money was well spent. It will last forever. Unlike people who spend, it's anaerobic, says Shock. There we go. Unlike people who will spend $2 quadrillion on the tiniest little bit of fancy perfume, and then they only use that perfume for special occasions, except for the deal is the perfume eventually evaporates, so you would have been better off using it every day than just special occasions. Now your fancy money just got wasted to the air, whereas fancy money for honey never gets wasted. And yes, you see, that is how the madness of Statter's brain scatters. Yeah, talk about perfume now instead of flipping honey. What? So, yeah. And so, okay, invert, think mirror image. Okay, so I guess I'm going to assume it has something to do with the chemical structure. All right, back to birrias. No. Okay, we're not gonna talk about birrias right yet, but we're gonna talk about this, okay? We're gonna talk about this. just for a quick minute, we're gonna talk about, let's see here. Okay, wait, Andre, the worst thing I ever saw was fake money made with maltose. I don't even know what you mean by that. I mean, I guess I do know what you mean by that, because maltose is a sugar, right? So they're trying to make honey from it, but like... Huh? Yeah, gross. I don't, yeah, you know, well, here's the deal, though. Okay, so as much as, like, what are you even talking about? What he's talking about is full-on real. Honey and olive oil are two of the most counterfeited food products in the world. They're expensive, and they're worth a lot. And hey, Michael Anthony Smith, and the labeling of such things is very important, and lots of labels maybe get switched and stuff, and so counterfeit honey, counterfeit olive oil are two very huge industries. So I'm not surprised that that the honey is got maltose. I mean, well, it's not supposed to, but I'm not surprised that Andre found some honey that was just like, oh, honey, this ain't honey. And it looked like honey, but you looked at the ingredients and maltose was in it, and it was in an Asian market. Yeah, and actually, Asia is where a lot of the counterfeit honey comes from, apparently. As far as the counterfeit olive oil, I don't really know where that happens, but I do know that counterfeit olive oil is a big deal as well. And the counterfeit olive oil oftentimes is a little bit of olive oil with other oils and then just sold as pure olive oil. Whereas counterfeit honey, that can range the gamut from not really honey at all to honey that actually is honey, but the source of it is not technically legally allowed. And so they then like shuffle the barrels and ship it through there and add it to that and blah, 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 blah. And so suddenly like this, you know, pesticide laden, not safe for human cotton ball honey or something, you know, gets mixed in with legit honey. So yeah, honey gets to be counterfeit in a bunch of different ways. And yeah, some of it is just outright, there ain't no honey in this honey. Other ways would be mixing it in with adulterating legit honey, as it were. And so yeah, totally, Michael Anthony Smith. So like chances are the honey that you get like in the cute little honey bears, there's a really good chance that there's some things in there that aren't where they thought they came from, you know. And so if you I've never had a honey bear crystallize, so if your honey isn't crystallizing, something is in your honey that is not pure honey. That's not honey. So yeah, you definitely, yeah, the bears are, Michael Anthony Smith, they some bad news bears. They some bad news honey bears. So yeah, right, okay, so Shock, you've had the honey bears crystallized, but that was a long time ago. We're not going to do the math. And, perfect. See, Cora, exactly. You buy your honey at the butcher or the fishmonger. I buy my honey at my greengrocer. And the greengrocer that I go to actually owns his own hives and gets the honey from those hives. So the hives are locally placed, which means if you're going to get any kind of allergy effect from the pollens within that honey, it's good for where I'm at, you know. Whereas like, because I don't know if you've heard this before, y'all, but if you suffer from, you know, hay fever, local allergies, etc., sometimes sometimes eating local honey can create an immune response that will help you not be allergic to what's floating in the air. But if you're living in the Puget Sound and you're allergic to what's in the Puget Sound, and you went and got some fancy honey from Oklahoma, the stuff that's in the Oklahoma honey ain't gonna help you with the stuff that's with the pollens that you're experiencing here in the Puget Sound. And so, shock, there you go. Your younger brother swears by local honey for his allergies. Now, whether or not so many people say that. Now, I don't know whether or not there's scientific proof to this whole honey thing. A lot of anecdotal proof, as it were. But here's the deal. Even if it's a placebo effect, it's still effective. And so, why overthink yourself out of a cure? Allergies are miserable, and if you think honey helps you, and legitimately it might, what's the harm, right? Right. And, shock, Pacololo honey, Andre, Humboldt honey might be a bit potent. I don't know. I've never seen cannabis honey alone in and of its jar, but two things. I know that somebody's trying to do it because I saw on the internet this guy who's got his hives, who he only feeds the cannabis flowers. But it took a little while for them, like the bees, to sort of learn to like that. However, everyone that I know in the Pacific Northwest who grows their cannabis outside will tell you the honeybees love the cannabis flowers. I don't know what was up with that guy's bees taking some time to figure out that the cannabis flowers were tasty, but honeybees love the cannabis flowers in the gardens that I have been to. I don't have access to those hives, but I can tell you that honeybees do land on those flowers, and they do something with it. What do they do with it? I've never had it. I don't know, but they do something with it. So yeah, I thought you might be joking, Shock, but it's actually not a joke. And Cindy, the only thing you ever saw flying Pacololo was cabbage moths. Oh, cabbage moths. Dude, cabbage moths eat everything. I don't know why they're called cabbage moths. They thrive on flipping everything. And that's just all we're going to say about that. That is all we're going to say about that. And, oh, Shock, you were today years old and you learned about cabbage moths. Yeah, well, they're white little butterfly looking things. Excuse me. And if you see one, you'll see two. And if you see two, they're going to get mating. And if you get mating, you're going to have them all over your house. So, yeah, maybe you don't have them. Maybe you don't have them on the East Coast the way we do on the West Coast. Thank you very much, you guys. My little sneezy sneeze. All right, so here's the deal. Cindy Krause coming in. Well, Michael Anthony Smith, gosh, you're on the West or the East Coast too. Maybe, I don't know, Cindy. Maybe cabbage moths are just a West Coast blessing or something like that. And, oh no, Cora, the carpet moths are the worst. They blend in, so they're hard to notice them until there's a hole in the carpet under your couch. Bummer. And hey, Cora, I've never heard of this in the United States. Doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but I've heard of some houses in the UK who, in an attempt to go very green with their building materials, instead of choosing fiberglass or other types of insulation, people have been using wool, right? Thinking the wool would be a great insulator, which in theory it is. But, and you might already have skipped several generations ahead of what I'm getting at. You know what loves wool? Carpet moths. And so apparently all of these brilliant ideas to green build. Some of them, okay, yeah, wool and horsehair is an old one, but it's still in old houses. No, and apparently they're revisiting wool. I don't know about the horsehair. They're revisiting wool as an insulator in newer houses to be more green. And unfortunately, they're finding out that that's just an invitation to the carpet moths. And so these houses are infested with moths, and they're just like, oh, wow, the road, the path to, the path to hell is paved with good intentions, and I'm now in hell with all of these good intentions surrounded me in these walls. So apparently, yeah, the carpet moths, they really like houses filled with wool. And the people who live in the houses don't like that at all. And good night, Michael Anthony Smith. I'm so happy you were able to hang out, even if just for a minute. Get some good sleep. I know you have to get up super early tomorrow morning to be the best DJ on the air. So you go play those musics, and you go tell about those traffics, and you go keep people up to date about the newsies. And we will see you in the next couple days. And Cora, okay, you can't confirm, but you also cannot deny, because people are pretty dumb when they make their houses. Yeah, exactly. So, and let's see here. Oh, wow, Cindy Krause. Should you be checking your old mattress made of horsehair coils? Ah! Oh, wait. I don't really know what you mean by that, Cindy. The coils are made of horsehairs? Or the coils are covered with horsehairs? And is that what that material is? Horsehair? Right. I might, learn stuff today. But, Michael Anthony Smith, you will try to have a good sleepy sleep. Okay, cool. But, you know what, Michael Anthony Smith? If you, want to hang out for another 2 minutes, we're going to do what we're going to do right now, which is we're going to look at, the pictures that Cindy Krause took with Lady Tie-Dye today. Earlier today, a couple roving reporters for the Statterbox crew went down to Morrow Bay in California, and they were invited on the Hokulea. It was a public adventure. Everyone docked for the public tours, etc., etc. But you can see these are some of the pictures that Cindy shared with the Statterbox crew. And these are the pictures that she took, or Lady Tie-Dye took. I'm going to assume Cindy took them. So these are the pictures she took, Gay, and so this is how small the boat really is. You really kind of get a good idea of the cramped quarters that this boat is going, it has. All right, Deb, take your puppy out. We'll see you soon. Now, for those of you who don't know, because, Cora, you might not be familiar and up to date with this whole situation. This particular boat is a replica that was made in the 1970s of a long-distance Polynesian ocean voyaging canoe. Double hold, etc. And the Hokulea has been traveling around the South Pacific for the last 20, 30 years. But now, this year, they started a circumnavigation of the Pacific Ocean that's intended to last 4 years. And so they started up in Alaska and have been traveling down the coast, the west coast of the United States, and now they're in California. And so Cindy and Lady Tie-Dye are the ones in the picture right here. They were fortunate enough to be able to go visit with when the boat docked in their area. Unfortunately, I was not able to go to the Seattle mooring, but there we go. That's basically, you know, a good size reference point right there. And that boat is not that big, right? And it's voyaging all through. It's going to go down the west coast of the United States, going down the west coast of South America. It's going to cross the Pacific Ocean to Easter Island. It's going to hit a bunch of Oceania, Samoa, all through Polynesia. It's going to go up through to Japan. Actually, though, you know what? I think I need to I think I misspoke there. That was the original voyage route. I feel like, and boy oh boy, people who know better than me correct me on this. I feel like they've actually changed the route a little bit because of the tragedy that happened on Maui with the wildfires. I think after they're done with the West Coast leg of this journey, I think they might be sailing back to Hawaii for a quick minute. For a very quick minute. And then carrying on. Okay, yeah, so Cindy said, yes, they are going to go to Hawaii in December and then resume later, going to support Maui. Right, so the original intention actually was to go down through South America and then start crossing over, but they have since, because of the tragedy in Maui, they have since revamped their route. Either way, it's a 4-year trip. It's a trip that's going to take 4 years to go all the way around the Pacific Ocean, and they're doing it in the boat that we're looking at right now. And then, and it's thanks to our roving reporters of Lady Tie-Dye and Cindy Krause that we get these close-up pictures. Andre was able to snap a few great pictures when it was in the San Francisco area, but this time we got to have people go on board. And so it sounds like the pineapple is a bunk, and oh my God, I'm just too fat for that. That does not look comfortable. And yeah, the statues are the akua for protection, of course. And then one thing that I really like about these pictures is all of the gifts and offerings that they've gotten. And then I think, okay, yeah, there's the boobies, there's the akua, but I thought that there was a picture on here that showcased the oars that they got from the Pacific. There we go. In this one, you can see resting in the sun are some oars that they got from the Pacific Northwest tribes, and I just love that those were there. And yeah, Andre, exactly. They get so many gifts in San Francisco. They got so many gifts everywhere they went. It was awesome. Now, the other thing, so let's see here. Shock. Royal Navy racks are 7 feet long and 18 inches wide and not comfortable. I got zero sleep in that thing, and we hadn't even got to the ocean yet. Yeah, I don't think I would. No. And then Cindy's saying that the oats are on the navigation deck. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that you mean the cots? The cots are on the navigation deck? Did you mean the beds, the bunks, the oats? Are they growing oats on the boats? But here is a quick little video that Cindy took while on the actual boat, to give you an idea of just to give you an idea of just how that is. So we're gonna loop that video again. And I don't see no oats, Cindy. But basically, though, that is from one side of the boat to the other. There you go. And they're gonna be out in the middle of the flippin' ocean. I just can't even. Okay, and Cindy says, they said the bunks are foam on plywood. Spell check is being a hater. Yeah, I hear that. Auto carrot is never anybody's friend. So yeah. This is the most super awesome situation that we could hope for. An actual Statterbox crew on the boat getting the footage firsthand, and I just am super stoked that we are able to share that. Or actually, that's not true. I am so stoked that Cindy was able to share that with all of us, and hopefully when the boat gets back into Hawaii, some of the Statterbox crew from the Hawaiian Islands maybe can get some footage as well. And let's see here. And last time I was on a boat, I think I was 7 in a Captain Jack wig. Oh, that's so cute. That is so cute. And Andre, the crew is kind of large. Most are smaller people, at least skinny. But yeah, there are a few big guys. Right, exactly. So they said they're wet bunks, like sometimes the waves come in. Well, yeah, dude, I'm sorry, but I can't believe that, of course. I mean, that boat is pretty low to the water, all things considered. And waves like to wave up high sometimes. They like to say, hi, I'm waving on you. Hi. So yeah, I'm not at all surprised that the wet bunks, sometimes the waves come in. Yeah. Now, I know that this question gets asked, but I get a different answer every time, so I'm gonna ask again. Cindy, how do they go to the bathroom? Where do they go to the bathroom? Tell me, did they discuss the bathroom situation? And what? Because I've heard, like, people are like, oh, they go underneath and then they, like, get in the water and they go to the bathroom. And it's like, no, the Flying Fork, they don't. Not in flippin' 48-degree water up in Alaska. They don't get in the water to go to the bathroom. Do they? And, okay, so potty is on a board under the navigation shelf. Okay. And then saltwater bidet. Okay. And yeah, saltwater shower, that doesn't surprise me. In fact, the showering is probably the least of my concerns, which says more about me than anything. Now, Cindy, Keone Nunez said that they, at least they used to, use Prel on the Hokulea, because Prel is one of the few soaps that actually lathers in salt water. Do you, can you confirm or deny this rumor? Let's see here. Yeah, of course you have to wear a vest and snap yourself in. Oh God. Oh, yeah. I mean, good thing actually. Yeah, of course but what if I have to go now? Like, it sounds like you really have to, like, you really have to plan for it, you know? Got to give myself 15 minutes of prep time before I get to go poop. Anyway, now that we've turned into 5-year-olds, we're talking about potty. And, let's see here. Nobody said pass the saltwater bucket and pray it rain a good rinse. Okay, so nobody said about that. All right. Okay. There you go. So there we go. That is the little adventure that the Hokulea is on right now. And when I say little adventure, that is just a misnomer, as it were, because it's a big old adventure. And pretty soon they will be leaving the mainland, that is the continental United States, and heading back to Hawaii. And when they get back to Hawaii, they might listen to this Lono tune. That's right, we're going to have a Lono listening break. And today, well, we're going to celebrate about how this ain't the mainland, baby. This ain't the mainland. All right, let's do it. Boop.
Okay, back. Go. way below the local speed limit. We know like how fast we go ekahe, elua, ekoloe, Slow it down, brother. This ain't the mainland. Riding in the old check. Way below the local speed limit. We know like how fast we go ekahe, elua, ekoloe, Ain't the mainland. We're putting up the little grass shack. It's small, but it's just enough. Now we plant la ekahe, elua, ekoloe, all that luxury condos, brother. This ain't the mainland. We're putting up the little grass shack. It's small, but it's just enough. Now we plant la ekahe, elua, ekoloe, This ain't the mainland. Na ulelo o Hawaii, na huna o Hawaii, na mele o Hawaii, Noah, Gabby, Johnny, Kendi. Yeah. Na ulelo o Hawaii, na huna o Hawaii, na mele o Hawaii, Noah, Gabby, Johnny, Kendi. Forget Israel and Skippy. Carl Street. Oh, sorry.
All right, there we go. And Gina, that is definitely one of my favorite Lono songs as well. In fact, I have to say, Passage to Pono is probably my favorite Lono album. It's very difficult to pick my favorite Lono album, but Passage to Pono is the one that just sort of holds in my heart like the greatest hits. And This Ain't the Mainland being one of the greatest hits. And when I say the greatest hits, obviously we're using that term loosely because I don't think he's ever had a top 100 or whatever type of, musical situation. But you know what we mean by hits. We mean the good songs, the songs that stick in our head, the songs that we sing along to. And Andre, thank you so much for giving that gift sub to Corey the Capricorn. And so now, let's see, Cindy is in agreement. Yes, Passage to Pono is my favorite album too, totally. All right, so we might have a new subscriber here, Cora. I mean, I know that she's a subscriber now. She might be new, might not be new to the rules of the Mad Statter emotes. All right, so first off, here we go. This is an emote that we have that as a general rule of thumb, we only use the haha emote because we love the person that we're making fun of, but they said something silly. So we try not to use the haha emote mean, okay? And hey, Lady Misty, it sounds like you're gonna go boy, so have yourself a good night. We'll see you soon. So generally, we don't ever want to use this in a mean way. However, there are a couple exceptions to that rule. First off, if there is a restream, some sort of bot that comes on the chat and is like, hey, do you guys want to buy subscribers? Then by all means, you can use this in a mean way. You can because it's a bot, what do they care? You can go, ha 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 bot, we're not falling for you. And the other mean way you can use it is if I do something so stupid, I mean like just, what were you thinking? And I deserve to be mocked. And not necessarily lovingly mocked, but mocked by a mock. By all means, throw down the haha in the most mocking way you can for me. Not for any of the other Chatterbox crew. You can only do the mean ha-has to the robots or to me. So that's that rule. And then, what is going on? There we go. And then the other, what is this? This is our prel dot. And this is when, well, first off, sometimes we just like to look at the prel dots. But the prel dots are for when someone says something that's like, oh, you naughty boy, you need to wash your mouth out with soap. Oh, did you really mean to say that? And so it's when someone's been bad that you throw the prel dots on them. And then let's see here, what else? What are our other rules for our things and stuff? I don't think we've got any other rules. Those are basically the rules. Is haha is supposed to be nice unless you're talking to robots or me, and the prel dots are either to see now. Yes, oh, it's soap. You thought it was green poop. See, that's the whole thing. Actually, those prel dots can be used for a lot of different reasons. First off, they're kind of cute. I mean, I kind of like them. I think they're kind of neat. Like, I just like to fill the screen with the green dots. Like, look at those green dots, everybody. The green dots are just like, green dots. So, and you can call them green poop. You could even call them candy if you want. It's soap, but you can call them candy. But if someone's like, Cora, I can't believe that you said that, let's see here, what's something Cora, I can't believe that you said that a strawberry milkshake is better than a chocolate milkshake. You need to wash your mouth out with soap. That's how you use the green dots. Oh my goodness. Are you telling me that you think grape jelly is better than strawberry jam? The horrors. Wash your mouth out with soap. So, now that you've had a primer of all of the wonderful dots and emotes, I guess the last one that I want to show you is this one. And mahalo means, Cora, but it is. Chocolate milk is yucky. Oh, the horror. And so the last one is mahalo, and mahalo is the Hawaiian word for thank you. So if you're feeling grateful and you want to throw down a thank you, the little mahalo works. And then I think, let's see here. I had one other one I wanted to show, but I don't remember what. Oh, and then there's this one, which you can throw these whenever you want, but they're my favorites. And it's the bees. All of the bees. And I don't know why the bees aren't coming across the screen, but there's the bees. So bees are just fun. So I hope you like the bees. And exactly, Gina. Oh, the horror. Wash that mouth out with soap. And let's see here. Cindy, your granddaughter's dad sent this wild-haired picture this morning, and we told Bo he was a prel head. We told Bo he was a prel head. I'm assuming Bo is the granddaughter's dad. Yeah, exactly, dude. Prel will do that to your hair. Prel will dry your hair out and make it big. And so that's why we chose Prel, because it's a very strong cleanser. And exactly, Gina, it is a pearl clutching moment. Granted, I don't have pearls, but we can pretend. We can pretend. Okay. Now, you guys. All right, you guys. Now, the important topic of the day. The one that we've been sort of talking about with foodsies and stuffies, but we didn't delve into it, and so now we're going to delve into it. I want to talk about sandwiches. Sandwiches. I want to talk about a sub, a hoagie, a hero, a grinder, and what is the difference between a sub, a hoagie, a hero, or a grinder? Because there are some subtle differences, and I've been talking to people in the East Coast about it, and I'm just curious what all y'all think the differences are between a sub, a hoagie, a hero, and a grinder. First off, we can all recognize that a hoagie, a hero, and a grinder are a subcategory of sub sandwiches. They're all technically sub sandwiches, but there we go. Now, Andre, you are right. It does depend on what town you're in, but here's the deal. Do you guys know where you're going to find which and what? What I mean is, a hoagie is associated with one particular area, city, actually. A hero is also associated with a particular city. A grinder is associated with a certain region of the country. Your submarine sandwiches, certain region of the country. And so, do you all know? Cindy's coming in. All right, Philadelphia, which one belongs to Philly? Is it the hoagie? Is it the hero? Is it the grinder? Let's talk about Philly. Which one comes from Philly? The hoagie, the hero, or the grinder? Cindy, you are right. The hoagie is from Philly. All right, so we got our Philly hoagie. Now, let's go down to the hero. Do we know where the hero comes from? The hero comes from a city. What city are we talking about here? Andre, yeah, the po' boy has a different kind of bread, and is not an Italian-American sandwich. Right now, we are focusing specifically on the Italian-American sandwiches that are either heroes, grinders, subs, or hoagies. And the cheesesteak is a Philly sandwich, absolutely. But the cheesesteak isn't considered a hoagie or a hero or a sub. It's a cheesesteak. So that's a different thing. And yeah, none of them existed before the Civil War. A lot of stuff didn't exist before the Civil War. But what I'm asking is, if you're gonna get a sandwich that's sort of like that, and you're in wherever you're in, where are you gonna find what sandwich? Cindy knows what's up. Rhode Island, grinder. New England is Grinderville. That is correct. New England is all about the grinders. So that's the Rhode Islands. That's the Bostons, the this, the that, the other. So okay, we've got grinder. We've got grinder here would be New England. We've got hoagie, which is Philadelphia. The hero, come on, you guys. Come on, you guys. Come on, you guys. The hero, you guys, come on. We're talking about New England. We're talking about Philly. What else is near there where, you might have an Italian-American community? And, Andre, the sub is Maine. Nope. That would be a grinder. They're part of the whole New England thing. And yes, the terms are nearly interchangeable. That is true. But there are certain things that make them what they are. Finally, Cindy coming in. Exactly. The New York has the hero. New York has the hero. And a hero, as a general rule of thumb, is going to have seeds on their bread. Not always, but the seeded bread comes from the hero, comes from New York. That's where that comes from. Yes, these are almost all interchangeable, but I went down a deep dive of a rabbit hole, and there are some subtle differences. Now, Cora, you dislike sharp bread. These sandwiches look sharp. I don't know what you mean by sharp. Do you mean tough and crusty? Because yes, That is part of what makes the bread for a hero sub hoagie grinder. It's a crusty bread, but it's supposed to be very soft and pillowy on the inside. And actually, because of all of the ingredients in the bread, the crustiness sort of does help keep it together. So there is a method to the madness. But okay, sharp, crusty, hurts your mouth. Yeah, the edges are sharp. Totally. I get that. And so, Cindy Krause coming in. I went to college in Philly and Rhode Island and had a Long Island roommate. Distinct advantage. Precisely. And then exactly, okay. Shock coming in. Mid-Atlantic, the most common terms are sub, grinder, and hoagie. In Maryland, it's a sub. In New Jersey and in Maryland and further south, we're looking at the sub territory. Absolutely. Now, the quirky quirkerson of all the quirkiness is grinders, apparently, of all of those sandwiches that we're just talking about, grinders are the only ones that anyone has ever mentioned as being served hot. Grinders don't have to be hot, but they can be hot. A sub sandwich, a proper sub, a proper hoagie, a proper hero is always going to be a cold sandwich. A grinder can be hot. Another difference is, you can get a hot meatball sub. Yeah, okay, true, but that goes into the hot sandwich carrot. There's crossover, without a doubt. And Cora, spoken like a true Brit. Y'all need to stop putting weird sauce on your sandwiches. Butter every time, no excuses. Yeah, we don't do that here. We do not do that here. My mom was Canadian, and she would always put butter on my sandwiches as a kid, and I had to beg her to stop because it's gross. But you Brits, you UKs, you people, and Canadians as well, all you British Empire types, you love that buttered bread, don't ya? You just love that buttered bread. Now, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy a buttered bread, but just bread with butter. I don't want my buttered bread on the sandwich. Butter on toast is delicious, but I don't want peanut butter on my butter. I want peanut butter with toast, or I want butter with toast. But Cindy, you and my mom would have gotten along smashingly. Butter on toast with peanut butter on top. That was actually one of her favorite breakfasts as well. If it wasn't flipping golden syrup, it was her little peanut butter. And it's delicious. Dip it in some soup. There you have it. And then, Shock, exactly, your English neighbor put butter on sandwiches she made for you when you were at her house. Yeah, those Brits, they love the butter. They love the butter. But to get back to the other sandwiches, so we've got, not only do we have weird stuff besides the butter, Cora, we put the Italian, for the sandwiches here, you gotta have some olive oil, you gotta have some vinaigrette. Generally, you're gonna have to have a sprinkle of some oregano, and then it's not unheard of to have some mayonnaise as well. But here we go. So we've got this grinder, this picture here that says a grinder can have various fillings, and here's one popular way of making it. You might notice that there's turkey on the grinder. I have never heard of any of the other typical hero hero hoagie sub. None of the Italian Americans are going to say that there's turkey on that. Grinders seem to be the only sandwich that like openly accepts the turkey within their heart. And a New York hero, apparently, according to the purists, they really, really, really need to have mortadella as part of the meat combo in the hero. Heroes also, now as a general rule, all of these sandwiches are supposed to have provolone cheese as the cheese, but a hero is allowed to maybe have mozzarella if no provolone is available. Whereas the other sandwiches are just like, if you don't got provolone, then we ain't got time for you. So there you go. So that is the lowdown on the different yes, they take their sandwiches very seriously back east. And And Piccola T, you just finished your book club meeting, and no surprise, y'all are talking about food. Not only are we talking about food now, we were talking about food at the beginning, and then we stopped talking about food, and we talked about the Hokulea, and then we came back and we started talking about food again, because this is Chatter with Statter, and we always talk about food. And yes, exactly, Andre. The Italian beef sandwich, though, oddly enough, even though it's oftentimes served on those like hoagie rolls, every Italian from the East Coast that I know refers to the Italian beef sandwich as an Italian beef sandwich. So it doesn't get the hoagie sub hero thing. So I don't know. Cora, here we go. See, now Cora, so I can already tell you that Cora, you are not going to like hoagies, subs, the traditional hoagie sub grinder, etc. because shredded lettuce, she says, should be illegal. Why should my sandwich be a chore to eat, constantly picking up individual pieces of lettuce and shoving them back in to follow it on the other side? I can appreciate that logic, but every single person that I've talked to about the sandwiches that we were just talking about, all of them agree shredded iceberg lettuce is mandatory. If the lettuce has to be shredded thin. Now, whether or not you dress the lettuce, that's a different argument. Because as a general, okay, you want to get into the dressings? Let's get into the dressings. As a general rule of thumb, the dressings on the grinder it's a lettuce with a mayonnaise vinegar type dressing. It's a little creamier. Whereas the dressings for, say, the hero, have a little bit of vinegar and olive oil already mixed in with the shredded lettuce. Whereas the sub and the hoagie generally don't have the dressed lettuce, and it's just plain lettuce. There you go. And so, Shock, is that beef sandwich the one with the au jus? No. I don't know what the one with the au jus, I mean, we call it the French dip, but no, the Italian beef sandwich is a different sandwich than the one with the au jus. And let's see here. Shock, if the lettuce is shredded, at least you don't look like a brontosaurus with a giant leaf hanging out of your mouth. And let's see here. Andre, they were getting in a fight over the mayo on some, in some Italian sandwich. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And, it is different than the Italian beef, because the Italian beef, I think, has like some peppers in it as well. Whereas the French dip is just beef and bread, maybe some cheese. And the French dip was actually like invented on accident, whereas the Italian beef is actually the Italian beef. Although maybe the French dip did accidentally get invented because of the Italian beef, but they are a little bit different, from what I understand. And so, Andre's coming in with way better info than, I don't really know what I'm talking about, which is what I was just doing. So, simmered and served au jus on a long French roll. The sandwich's history dates back to the 30s. The bread itself is the diner's preference, often dipped or double dipped into the juice the meat is cooked in. And the sandwich is typically topped off with Chicago style, whatever you call it, I can't remember, or sauteed with green Italian sweet peppers. Italian beef sandwiches are commonly found in many hot dog stands, pizzerias. Okay, so I guess, that goes against what the Italians have told me. But okay. It kind of makes sense. They consider it two different things, but that doesn't mean that they didn't start out as the same thing. So Andre, your history is probably right, but I know plenty Italian foodies who would argue with that. And, let's see here. French dip. I'll tell you, Mama Sean, I grew up eating French dips once a week, and it was one of my least favorite dinners of the week as a child. But now, as a grown-up, I really crave a French dip every once in a while. And, Cora, can someone explain Miracle Whip to me? Is it like fluffy mayo? No. Can I explain to you Miracle Whip? No. Yeah, so let's see here. Miracle Whip is the same texture roughly as mayonnaise. So it's not fluffier, but it is so much sweeter. It's considered a salad dressing in and of itself. So like you in theory could just put it on lettuce and you'd be all like with salad dressing. Lots like obviously use it on their sandwiches. It's like sugar and mayonnaise had a baby, and then maybe like dunked that baby in lemon juice. I don't really know how. All I can say is it's so sweet. It's sweet mayonnaise is all I can tell you. It's sweet mayonnaise. And I'm sure someone who likes it would just be like, no, you don't understand the delicate interplay of flavors of sweet and sour and salty and blah, blah, blah. No, it's sweet mayonnaise. It's just gross. And you're not missing out on anything at all. At all. And yeah, they dropped the baby on its head. Exactly. Oh my God, Picola Tea, I'm so sorry for you. Some of those relatives eat Miracle Whip sandwiches. Just the Miracle Whip on the bread. No. No, thank you. No, thank you. And hey there, Keone Nunez. Good to see you coming in from Thailand. We are talking right now about grinder sandwiches, hoagie sandwiches, sub sandwiches, and hero sandwiches. And now we have gone off into the topic of mayonnaise versus Miracle Whip. So if you have any opinions on mayonnaise versus Miracle Whip, we'd be stoked to hear them. Or we have this person here named Cora. She's from England, and she was asking, like, what is Miracle Whip? Is it just fluffy mayonnaise? And I wasn't really able to explain what Miracle Whip is other than it's sweet mayonnaise. So if you have some insight on how to describe Miracle Whip, we would definitely love to hear it. But we also recognize that this might not be your topic of expertise. You've got a lot of topics of expertise, but this might not be one of them. Then again, you know a lot of stuff, so tell us what you know about Miracle Whip. Other than it's really gross. And then Andre basically is coming in with the truth. America is divided between Miracle Whip eaters, regular mayo eaters, and those who hate all mayo in general. And let's see here. Andre, do you remember when they made mayo with a bit of pickle relish in it? No, I don't. Although now that I say I don't, I feel like I might. Was it a Heinz product, and was it advertised as sandwich spread? Because if so, I might have remembered it. And let's see here. Keone, okay, so all right. You're wrong, Keone, but that's okay. You will never have to worry about me stealing your Kewpie mayo. So, Keone comes in with Kewpie Japanese mayo is the best. And a lot of people think that, but here's the deal. I think Kewpie mayo tastes like Miracle Whip. And so I don't really like Kewpie mayo. So many people love it, and it's just, I tried to like it, but every time I ate it, it was just like, God, it kind of tastes like Miracle Whip. I mean, it's just, Keone, you're so weird. You and everybody else who loves Kewpie, they're so weird. And let's see here. So, what was it? Somebody said that Miracle Whip was meant as a cheaper mayonnaise, which is kind of weird because mayonnaise isn't exactly, I mean, eggs and oil and vinegar, isn't that all mayonnaise is? And let's see here. Miracle Whip, though, water, soybean oil, high fructose corn syrup, so no wonder it's so sweet, vinegar, eggs, natural flavor. Oh, it's got mustard in it. Okay, all right. It's got garlic in it. It's got spice. Okay, so it's a little bit more than just sweet mayo, but to me, it tastes like sweet mayo. And Keone's saying that Kewpie is not as sweet as Miracle Whip. All right, I'll ride with you on that. I can agree with that. And hey there, C Honda. Good to see you. We are talking about mayonnaise versus Miracle Whip over at the moment. And shock, eggs and olive oil is what mayo's supposed to be. I don't think it has to be olive oil, does it? I mean, I know that they make it with olive oil and you get to pay extra for that, but I always thought it was just like whatever oil. Well, I mean, not whatever oil. Obviously, you're not going to want to use like linseed oil or motor oil, but you know, the edible oils. And hey there, Verity, good to see you. And yeah, olive oil with the eggs, I kind of thought that was where the aioli came from. And C Honda, exactly. Best foods for me is best foods. And I think Keone votes for the Kewpie. So we've got a Kewpie Best Foods rivalry going on. It looks like nobody here is admitting to be on Team Miracle Whip. And so that's good, I guess. But if you are on Team Miracle Whip, I promise you can come out and we won't set the ha-has on you. I promise we won't throw down the ha-has. And let's see here. Picola T, who else loves mayo on their fries? Chips. I love mayonnaise on my french fries. And Mama Sean, any oil works, and it's a tiny bit of vinegar and a little bit of mustard. Okay, there you go. You know, Mama Sean, I have got so much mayonnaise in my house right now, but you're making me want to, like, see if I can make some homemade. Because homemade mayonnaise, I remember making it once, and it did not work. And I really would like to see if I can make it work again. No, not again. Always. For the first time. First time ever, is what I'm saying. And Andre, isn't Miracle Whip a Southern thing? I don't know if it's a Southern thing, but I do know that my dad, who was from Indiana, loved Miracle Whip. We always had Miracle Whip in the house because of him. So sure, why not? And I've never had Duke's mayonnaise, but I have heard that Duke's is superior to Best Foods. I am willing to do a blind taste test to see if this is true, because I do enjoy a good mayonnaise. And Andre, exactly, Indiana is kind of like the South. Yeah, exactly. And tartar on French fries is a must. Mayonnaise on pizza, I have never heard of such shenanigans, but when you say that you put it on the spicy pizza, suddenly I'm a little bit interested. Okay. I'm definitely willing to listen to this as an option. And let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, so Mama Sean, use a blender. It's easy. You used to make it all the time. You just drizzle the oil in slowly. Yeah, that's the problem. When I first made it, I didn't drizzle the oil in slow enough, so it just never. And so let's see here. Andre coming in with some demographic situations. Mayonnaise on the West Coast, they treasure Best Foods. Always have. On the East Coast, it's Hellmann's. Hellmann's, by the way, is the same thing as Best Foods, just two different labels. So clearly, the Best Foods Hellmann's brand reigns supreme on the coast. And then the Middle West likes the Miracle Whips. It's a Depression-era invention bulked up with starchy extenders to replace some of the fat. Okay, there we go. And then an addendum to that is Duke's is definitely... Okay, I don't have proof for this. I don't have footnotes. I don't have it. But from my anecdotal understanding, Duke's mayonnaise is the mayonnaise that rules the South. So, Mama Sean, I think you're a Southern era, and I don't think Deb is here anymore, but she's Kentucky. And anybody who has Southern shock, even with your Virginia-ness, I guess you're Southern enough. Duke's seems to be the real deal in the South. Is that, am I just making that up? Because I make things up a lot. And, let's see here. Mustard and mayo mixed on French fries is good also. I don't think I've ever tried that. But I definitely could see why that would be good. Because the mustard... The little tang of the mustard helps to counterbalance the fattiness of both the fries and the mayo. Okay. And okay, so Maryland is technically Southern. Okay, so Gina, Duke's, is it a thing? Am I just making that up? Obviously you don't speak for everybody in the South. I don't expect that. But what's your take on the Duke's mayonnaise scene in your area? And yeah, no, Hellman's and Best Foods are the same brand. It's one is east of the Mississippi, it's Hellman's. West of the Mississippi, it is Best Foods, or maybe it's the Rocky Mountains. It's one of those two geographical dividers. Either way, West Coast gets the Best Foods. East Coast gets the Hellman's, and let's see here. Cora, American mustard is poop, English is better. Well, first off, I don't really know what you mean by American mustard other than yellow mustard, and yeah, dude. I mean, that's, yeah, dude. Because, because we have a lot, because generally the Dijon mustard is, supposed to be French. But from what I've heard, dude, English mustard is nothing to be toyed with. If you want some hot flippin' mustard, you go to England for some mustard. I mean, clear your sinuses, make you see God kind of mustard. English mustard makes your mouth hurt real good. Exactly. That's the one thing I know about English mustard is people from America underestimate I had a friend an American friend who used to work in London as a sandwich maker, and he always had to warn the Americans, you don't want a lot of mustard. And they would just be like, no, pile that mustard. And they just wouldn't listen to him. And so he's just like, you don't know what you're asking for, dudes. And inevitably they'd bring the sandwich back. I can't eat this. There's too much mustard. And he's just like, I told you, it was the blah, blah, a little dab will do ya. And so, not at all surprised that that you look down your nose at the American mustards, because yeah, they are not the same as what you've got going on there. Andre, you need that mustard for the bland food in England. Fighting words. And let's see here. Coleman's would take your head off for sure. And let's see here. What do we got going on? And Mama Sean, they just have Duke's here, and it's richer, more eggs, you think. Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's an eggier, very eggy. But yeah, I've never had it, so I really would like to try it. And let's see here. Mama Sean, oh, you're actually from Seattle, but you live in Arizona now. Why did I think that you... I don't know why I thought you lived in the South, but now it's time to point and laugh at me. There we go. And, let's see here. What was Shock talking about? With the, let's see here. So, homemade Thousand Island dressing, I'm assuming, is what? The ketchup, the mustard, and the relish? Which, actually, I really enjoy. And let's see here. Really, Picola Tea, you visited Coleman, you couldn't believe all the mustard products they made. I don't know if I've ever seen anything other than their mustard powder. Wow. I guess they must make more than just the powder. And yeah, exactly. When someone mistakes the wasabi mistakes wasabi for avocado, that is so funny. And Gina, good call, because I knew we were getting close, but I didn't realize that we actually went over. So we will be wrapping things up in just a little bit. But Verity, you like the Beaver brand deli mustard. The Beaver brand, if I remember correctly, is definitely got a bite to it. I've never bought it myself, but I definitely have tried it. And if I remember correctly, yeah, the Beaver bites. And let's see here. All right, so let's see here. We have so much selection of condiments in the U.S. Yes, we do, Andre. But you guys, I always thought Thousand Island dressing wasn't just the mayonnaise and the ketchup and mayonnaise. I always thought that it's got little pickle chunks in too, doesn't it? Or am I confused? I mean, yeah, I'm always confused. All right. On that note, you guys, it is 5 minutes past the bottom of the hour. And so, it is. Okay, yeah, Andre, it does have pickle relish in those islands. There we go. And mayo in beef stew is good, but mayo mixed with pork and beans over hot rice is amazing. I can honestly say that has never crossed my mind. Mayo with pork and beans. Okay, first off, pork and beans over rice, sign me the flying fork up. Beef stew over rice, sign me up. But mayo and beef stew, mayo and pork and beans, I have never tried either of those things, and I just don't know. I feel like I need to experience that. I'm not sure how I will feel about it, because as a general rule, mayonnaise, for me, makes everything taste better. I mean, Andre, right, mayo does make so much things taste better. So I'm like, gosh, you know, I'm kind of flummoxed. And Cora, no, I'm so happy that you joined us tonight, adding in the English perspective on mustards and foodsies and porksies and beansies and all the thingsies. I'm so stoked that you were here with us for this show. Hopefully we will see you some other time. I know you don't do notifications, so you'll be here when you be here. But thank you so much for hanging out. Good to see you. And because I'm saying goodbye to Cora, I really should probably just say goodbye to everybody here, because we are now 6 minutes past the bottom of the hour. So we will see each other next Wednesday, 4 p.m. West Coast time, 1 p.m. Hawaii time, and 7 p.m. East Coast time. So we'll have our chatter with Statter on Wednesday. And hopefully we can see each other around and about on the interwebs before that. But if not, 4 p.m. Wednesday, who knows what we'll be talking about? But this was exactly Piccola Tea, a saucy stream, and I'm glad we could all be a part of it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for the subs, the gift subs, and mostly just hanging out for the chat. See you soon.